Good evening. It's Friday, the 3rd of February, and it's time for the news on RIK 2. President Anastasiades met with German Chancellor Angela Merkel and British Prime Minister Theresa May in Valletta, Malta, discussing developments on the Cyprus problem. Government spokesman Nikos Christodoulidis said that the demand by Turkey to accord the four basic European freedoms, that is, freedom of establishment, movement of capital, work and of services, to be recognised for Turkish nationals in Cyprus after a solution, was at the centre of his talks with Merkel and May. Both Merkel and May briefed Anastasiades on the aspects of their talks in Ankara during recent visits relating to the Cyprus problem. May was reported by the Cyprus news agency as telling Anastasiades that Turkey wants a settlement of the Cyprus problem. Anastasiades pointed out that Turkey's rhetoric should be practically proven during the negotiations aiming to solve the Cyprus problem. May also reiterated the UK's position that it does not want to continue to be a guarantor power in Cyprus. President Anastasiades and Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras will meet in the middle of February to coordinate their policies ahead of an expected resumption of the Geneva Conference on Cyprus. Government spokesman Nikos Christodoulidis said that the meeting will take place either in Nicosia or in Athens. He also said that both Greece and Cyprus want the Geneva Conference to be reconvened early in March to continue discussion of the security and guarantees issues at a political level. The United Nations will invite the parties to the conference after consulting guarantor countries Greece, Turkey and Britain. Christodoulidis said no one can say yet whether the next stage of the Geneva Conference would be the end of the road, noting that the United Nations say that the conference is open-ended. He also said that President Anastasiades will decide after his return from Malta on convening the National Council. United Nations emissary Espan Barth-Aida had a meeting with Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Kotchas in Athens today to discuss about the reconvening of the Geneva Conference on Cyprus. Aida also met with the diplomatic advisor of Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, who was in Malta for the EU summit. Aida has been asked by President Anastasiades and Turkish Cypriot leader Mustafa Kemal to make preparations for reconvening the Geneva Conference early in March. Aida, a former foreign minister of Norway, last night briefed the diplomatic representatives of the European Union countries accredited in Athens on the Cyprus negotiations during a dinner hosted by the Norwegian ambassador in the Greek capital. Turkey sought to increase tension in the Aegean by accusing Greece today of breaching international law by carrying out a military exercise on an island in the Aegean Sea. The Turkish Foreign Ministry said it was aware of Greek media reports that Greek special forces had parachuted onto Kos and said the exercise was a breach of the 1974 treaty that banned all such training on the island. A Greek Defence Ministry source confirmed that there had been a scheduled exercise at the beginning of the week involving parachutists. The source said the training schedule of the Greek armed forces is not going to stop. Turkey warned it could take action if necessary. Tensions between the two countries have been on the rise since a Greek court last week blocked the extradition of 8 Turkish soldiers Ankara accuses of involvement in July's failed coup. Turkey sent warships past the rocky islands of the Emir Group in the eastern Aegean after the court ruling, and Greece reported massive incursions by Turkish military aircraft over the central and southern Aegean. The visit to Ankara by German Chancellor Angela Merkel has underlined the frayed relations with Turkey on several issues, including the clampdown by Turkish authorities on the opposition and journalists. In remarks to the press after meeting with Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan and other government officials, Merkel stressed the importance of freedom of opinion. Asked about the failed coup in July, Merkel said the Turkish people stood up for democracy and for the rules of democracy. She added that in such times of profound political upheaval, everything must be done to continue to protect the separation of powers and, above all, freedom of opinion and the diversity of society, pointing out that opposition is part of democracy. Erdogan said that the proposed constitutional changes will not abolish the separation of powers in the country. Merkel said that in her talks with Turkish leaders, she urged for the speeding up of a Cyprus solution. European unity and the stemming of refugee influx from Africa was at the centre of attention of the leaders of European Union countries who gathered in Malta for an unofficial summit today. The leaders issued a declaration stating that the key to reversing the flow of refugees is to stabilise and strengthen Libya and also have an effective control of external borders. German Chancellor Angela Merkel, speaking on arrival, made an appeal for European unity, saying this rested on a clear defining of EU's role in the world. German European Commissioner Günther Oettinger had said earlier that United States President Donald Trump is playing a game of divide and rule with the European Union and urged member states not to succumb to the ploy. Austrian Chancellor Christian Kern said that the Trump policies offer a chance for more unity in Europe. But European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker has said that there are still margins to seek out clarifications about some of Trump's policies, which go in a direction away from those of Europe. Taxi drivers caused traffic jams in central roads today during a 4-hour work stoppage in support of demands. Taxi drivers are asking the government to annul a large number of taxi licenses, bring down the costs, and end private individuals providing taxi services. Main streets in Nicosia were closed after taxi drivers blocked them with parked vehicles, and police had to reroute traffic through other streets. Taxi drivers in Limassol parked their taxis outside the city's port, while drivers in Larnaca and Paphos parked on roads close to the airport. Nicosia taxi drivers called off their strike action at 9 in the morning after Transport Minister Marios Dimitriades told them he will meet with them to discuss their grievances after his return from a visit abroad. Now for the weather forecast. It will be fine at first tomorrow, but will become cloudy at times. Winds will initially be light variable, force 3, but will gradually turn southwesterly to northwesterly. The sea will be calm to slight. Temperatures will reach 17 Celsius inland and in coastal areas and 7 over the mountains. It will become cloudy at times on Sunday with isolated rain and snow over higher ground, but it will be mostly fine with some cloud at times on Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures will remain unchanged. The depth of snow is 70 centimetres on Mount Olympus and 50 over the Troodos Square. That's all from us here. Join us tomorrow for more news in English. Have a very good evening.